Welcome back to Matchday Live, and it was not our night as City go down 2-0 to Paris Saint-Germain, and two absolute world-class finishes from them have won them the game this evening. But there is lots and lots to be positive about, and we're going to have a positive dissection of that game now with Nedum and Dickov. Paul, first of all, I don't think we played any worse than we did against Chelsea, and pre-game we were praising how good we were against Chelsea. Was the difference tonight that we just didn't perhaps have the luck, or just the absolute finishing end game to get those important goals tonight?
Yeah, a little bit of both, I think. I think performance-wise it was fantastic. You know, PSG, one of the favourites, and yet again the Champions League, we dominated them. You know, Al said in the commentary there, stats don't mean a lot, but you look at our possession, you look at shots we've had, corners, you name it. But then when you've got Lionel Messi in your team, and I can't remember him doing anything at all tonight until the goal. You know, fantastic finish, you're 2-0 down and then it's game over. But I think Pep will look at the performance and be really, really pleased with that. We're all disappointed we've been beat, but performance-wise there was big performances from big players again tonight, but just not the last third finishing end of the pitch. We just weren't there.
Yeah, Lionel Messi scored a world-class goal, and he was a draft excluder twice, which is
well worth it then, yeah.
Yes, well worth it. Yeah, it was those world-class finishes that won it for them tonight. We had so many chances, so many shots on target, so many shots at the goal as well. We didn't get the goal tonight. Is this going to reopen that can of worms, Nedum?
I'm sure it will, but it's only open until they score goals in the next game and stuff like this. But this is what people want to roll with, and I think today, overall, looking at it, I think PSG, they obviously know that the three players up top, they're incredible, but I think in some ways they're a luxury. But that means that the rest of the PSG team have to be at their absolute best when it comes to defending, and I thought they were that today. I think the three midfielders worked their socks off, the centre-backs, the full-backs they did, and overall the keeper's coming off, and he's made some saves as well in big moments. Like, he's celebrating a clean sheet because he knows he had to earn it. So, as I say, the kind of worms can open up about having a striker, this, that and the other, but no, it's...
Anybody that knows anything about football will look at that game,
yeah,
and just see how far ahead we are at PSG.
Yeah,
because we were tonight, you know, in every department, and it does you do look stupid because we are biased. Don't get me wrong.
Without doubt, yeah, that's wear the blue.
Biased?
Yeah,
I know.
Me?
Yeah, I know. Well, we've lost the game 2-0, but as in keep going back to the performance, to go to Paris after a tough game against Chelsea as well, and put in that performance and dominate Paris Saint-Germain the way we did. It's early doors, but it just looks so good for the future, as in this season.
Yeah.
Who are your standout performers for City tonight?
I thought Rodri did really well again, but as a collective, I just thought they were good. I think the back line did particularly well because when we talk about those three players for Paris Saint-Germain, they didn't have a huge influence on the game itself, and I think that was in part due to the way they defended as a collective. So, you know, it's tough to single out one individual there, but this is the nature of football, you know. I think there were maybe a couple of mistakes that led to the Messi goal, and then you get punished because he's arguably the greatest of all time. But as an individual, I think Rodri, but the backline again, I think, you know, they'll look at 2-0 and say, you know, they've conceded and whatever, but defensively they look really solid. And I think to find success this year, that's the sort of level of performance that they'll have to come up against, and it's likely they won't be against that sort of front three on a week-to-week basis anyway, so I think they'll be all right.
And Phil Foden came on in the second half and made an immediate impact. He is just getting better and better, if that's possible, Paul.
Yeah, he is. Look, people keep saying he's the next best thing. He's here now. You know, he's up there with the best in the world. And he came on and had an impact straight away. You know, Jack struggled a little bit at times against Hakimi tonight. But that's understandable. You know, I think he's played in every single game since he's came here, and obviously Phil's coming back really hungry because he's missed the start of the season, and he looked really sharp again. You know, in the first couple of minutes he came on, he had a huge impact in the game, and the more we see a Phil Foden, the better for everybody, I think.
Now, just to prove that we are not biased in this studio, we're going to have a look now at some of the stats from the game. So you can see from these stats, City's domination, 53% of the possession, 7 shots on target to Paris Saint-Germain's 3, 17 total attempts there. incredible stats.
Yeah. You know, like you'd look at those stats, and if you take away the score, you think it's been a great game for City. But you know, football is all about scoring, isn't it? But like I was saying before, alluding to about the goalkeeper, he's made 8 saves in a game. You know, most goalkeepers won't make that many across 2. So things aren't all. It's not all doom and gloom. But again, total passing here. I think Pep wants his teams to get the ball down and move it. And you look at the stats, and you've got five players there being in the top 5 for total passes in a game. So there are tons of positives. And Pep is somebody who's obsessed about performance. And I doubt you'd find many people that look at that and say that was a bad performance. So even though the result isn't there, there's still some sort of semblance of momentum, which is obviously massive when you want to be successful like City do.
Yeah, I can already guess Pep's post-match press conference is going to be all about, we played very, very good, very good, we played very well.
Because he did. That's the thing he did.
Yeah.
Like, there's no gaslighting going on here. Like, that's just it as a matter of fact, really. So we'll see how that goes when people say, yeah, but if you had a striker, then...
No,
sure,
I know.
whatever,
On a different day with a little bit of luck, Bernardo Silva's effort in the first half goes in, and then the game is turned on its head.
That's
Yes.
the one. I forgot about that one because it feels like it's such a long time ago. You know how key that could have been for the game itself. But this is football. This is kind of why we love it. And on a different day, maybe City will get the luck that, say, maybe PSG did with certain things.
Yeah. Well, it's only Sunday, 5 days. It's 5 days away until we get to go again. And if we put in a performance like that against Liverpool, I'm going to be feeling really confident. We'll have a quick chat about that in a second. But before we do, I know you're all dying to find out who was the Cryptic City player for tonight. So thank you for everyone that tweeted us in using hashtag #ManCity. Right, Paul, you got it first. I'm going to let you explain the clues.
Well, Bernardo Silva, then Anne Hathaway, Sylvain, Dish, and then the number 10, Sylvain
Dish
Dish
10. Dish 10.
Yeah, because we've been speaking about him all night as well. I thought it was pretty obvious, but it took you guys a little bit longer.
Are you having that one?
Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. You guys. I got it. That's have to be talked into it. You know what I mean? Basically laid it on a plate for her. But look at this guy.
Just a chance to see this goal again.
When in doubt, see, when defenders come forward, people just doubt you. But it's the turbo here.
Oh.
Get out of the way and have that.
That defender's got a caravan in his back running back there.
Yeah, you see Bernardo Corradi as well, I think in the middle, think he was going to get the ball squared to him. You're wrong, my friend. You are very, very wrong.
What a goal from Dish 10 there.
Yeah.
Dish 10.
Can't be a
Dish
10, can you? Yeah.
Well done to everybody who got that right. Thank you so much for tweeting us in. So CJ said it's none other than Sylvain Distin. Jigithis, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, said Cryptic City answer is Sylvain Distin. Craig said Sylvain Distin. Shari McGuinness said Sylvain Distin. Chris Taylor Dubai. Leslie Blaney. Clara Seuss all said Sylvain Distin. Well done, all of you. I know how much you're all enjoying that by the number of tweets we get. I'm loving it as well. So come back on Sunday if for no other reason than to do another Cryptic City. Now, talking about Sunday, gents. So, Liverpool away to Anfield. At Anfield, how are you feeling?
Anfield's always a tough place to go, you know, for every team, not just for City, because I think sometimes we can get sucked into thinking it's just City's like bogey spot. Every team tends to struggle there, but this is a really good team. And as I said today, like even though they didn't get the result, there was still a good performance in there. So as they go there, they're not in a crisis. People from the outside might want to call it one, but they're not in a crisis. Those players that leave the field today, the vast majority of them will be walking off thinking they've played well. And that's going to be a big boost when it comes down to what will be a tough game on Sunday. So I think City are more than capable of getting a result. I think it'll be a very, very hard-fought, hard-earned win, as was the case with Chelsea, if it's to be the case. Because like the crowd is something, Liverpool being energised, trying to prove a point will be something. But, you know, in my opinion, we've got the best team in England, so I think they'll be all right.
Yes, love that. We're going to have a look at some of the highlights from last season's game at Anfield. Just a reminder of how well we played last year in the game.
Forgot about that, to be honest. Completely forgot about it, yeah.
Gundo.
Then that's the last time Gundogan missed a shot, by the way.
Yeah, totally. And of course, he's not going to be fit for Sunday, which is going to be a big miss.
Yeah, for sure.
So Foden, tricky feet, and there is the goal. What did you make of this game, Paul? Can you remember it?
Yeah, I can. I loved it. I thought completely dominated them as well. I thought it was going to be one of them days again. We're missing the penalty, obviously, as we had done a lot last season. I'd actually forgot about this penalty as well from Salah, if I'm being honest. But then after this, we just went on and got better and better and better. So I think a lot of people are looking at this Liverpool coming back into it, us not winning at Anfield for a long time, and maybe looking for City to crumble a little bit. But we really stepped up a gear, and Phil Foden was just unbelievable, for the whole game. People say he announced himself in this game. I don't think he did. He was always here before that. But I expect to see more of this on Sunday, pressing from the front. It will be different with the fans in there, but I think that'll really fire the players on, having the atmosphere, and here you go. Fantastic run. Little touch back and finish.
See, that one went in.
Yeah.
Dink, that one went in. Of course, no Van Dijk in this team that we played last year. I think we're all sick of hearing about the fact there was no Van Dijk last year, but what difference will he make in the game on Sunday, do you think?
Yeah, I think he will make a big difference because, they do rely upon him because, they paid all that money for him, and to be fair, he's proven to be of value. But having watched them against, say, Brentford last week, no defender is perfect, no team is perfect, and he can be gotten at. And I think realistically, you need to remember as well, he's trying to find his way back into what it is to be playing week in, week out and playing at the highest level. And I think the City side will definitely test him because it's City, just a different animal. So it's good for the Premier League that he's back, but I don't think these City players are going to give him an easy day at all.
No, and I think the players will be buzzing for it because a lot of people were saying that one of the reasons they won that game is because there was no crowd there.
Yeah.
I know a lot of Liverpool fans that were playing off the back of that, and then obviously a full house at Anfield on Sunday. These players will be buzzing for that, especially after playing well and not winning tonight. They want to get back on track straight away, and if we press them like we did and like we have done with PSG tonight, and especially Chelsea last week, if we press Liverpool like that, we'll cause them lots and lots of problems.
Good point. And in fairness, the parallel between that game to come and today was this: you can press them, but PSG have a really fast front line. And I think overall City dealt with that very, very well today. So if you have that sort of mentality going to play against Liverpool at Anfield, I think you'll be okay.
Liverpool, of course, the only side in the Premier League still unbeaten, 4 wins, 2 draws so far. They've also netted more goals currently than anyone else. However, we have conceded fewer than anyone else. 5 clean sheets in a row in the Premier League, just that 1 goal against Spurs. So it's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it already, Paul. How about you?
Yeah, I am. And I know people saying we've played 3 games in a week, so have Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly.
They played obviously late Saturday night. They've travelled as we have today, and then the game on Sunday. And I keep going back to every time I talk about Man City and having a lot of games in a short space of time, I'll just go back to the squad depth. Pep could make 4 or 5 changes and freshen it up on Sunday, whereas I don't think Liverpool can. And I think the big games and come the end of the season, the quality, not just the depth, the quality we've got in our squad will be too good for everybody else.
Now, I've got David James and Jolien Lescott joining me in the studio on Sunday. You guys got you want to tip me off with any stories to ask them? Anything to get the two of them about in advance? Feel free to think about it and text me in the week.
Yeah, I was going to start. I don't think I could say on camera, actually.
Yeah, we'll wait till these are turned off and we'll talk a bit more, yeah.
Brilliant. So, we're going to give you the full-time results from the other Champions League games tonight. Earlier, Ajax beat Besiktas 2-0. Shakhtar and Inter was a 0-0 draw. And then Borussia Dortmund have beat Sporting 1-0. Liverpool ended up beating Porto 5-1. Atletico Madrid beat Milan 2-1 away from home. There's the PSG City score. And then that one from our group. Amazing. Club Brugge have beaten Leipzig 2-1 away from home. So Club Brugge currently sitting on 4 points, undefeated so far in the group. The only team undefeated in our group so far. And then finally, Sheriff have beaten Real Madrid 2-1.
Yeah, of course they did.
Of course they did, yes.
This is an obvious result.
Of course they did. And here is the current table for our group. Paris are top with 4 points. Club Brugge are second also with 4 points. The difference there is the goal difference, of course. And then there is us and then Leipzig. But of course, we've got Club Brugge for our next 2 games, home and away, before we will go to Leipzig and then welcome Paris Saint-Germain here. So 4 games to go. A long way to go yet in that group. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Pleasure, as
always. A pleasure. Big thank you to Paul. Big thank you to Nedum as well. Thank you to everybody at home for joining us on Matchday Live this evening. So we will be back on Sunday, 4:30 against Liverpool. We'll be here from about 3:30. So Paris Saint-Germain, they might have won the battle this evening, but they certainly have not won the war. Good evening, Blues.